Hey folks, I got another great CC collab for you today. This is Fastidious. Some of you may remember Fastidious was a raid content creator several years ago, and he is back with a vengeance. He's got a new raid channel. You should check it out. I will put a link to it in the description of this video. But Fastidious, my man, how are you doing? Welcome back.
Yeah, it's good to be back, and it's good to film an interview with you every single night of this week. I like it. It's fun.
Yeah, if you don't know, but we know, we have filmed this interview before, but we had technical difficulties, so we got to do it all over again. But you know what? I don't mind. I'm enjoying hanging out with you and talking with you. We'll see. Maybe the questions will be different tonight. We'll go somewhere else with the conversation.
That'd be fun. Let's try to aim for at least one different question for our own sanity's sake.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. All right. So that is what we're doing today. As you know, I like to bring content creators on for the first time and just interview them, get to know them a little bit as people talk about gaming, talk about content creation, talk about raid, talk about life. So that's what we're going to do today. I am Colred. This is Fastidious. Let's get started. Just a quick reminder to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and consider joining our Discord community. Also, don't miss my next Takeover Tuesday live stream. I go live at 2 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday, February 11th. I hope to see you there. All right, so Fastidious, first of all, let's go back. Let's go way, way back. Before the current channel, before Watcher of Realms, we'll talk about that later. Let's go back to the beginning. When did you know that you were I love to ask this question. When did you know you were a gamer? What was the game that like flipped that switch in your brain and all of a sudden you're like, yep, this is me now?
Yeah, it's the cringiest answer, I believe, but I think the game was Raid.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm a really cool guy. I'm a real cool guy. Subscribe to my channel, Raid. No, but I like video games. Who doesn't like video games? Video games are great. But I would never have described myself as a gamer, like playing the every day kind of thing, getting deep in the weeds. I'd never downloaded Discord or anything like that until Raid. That's probably when I really was all in on gamer life. It lined up pretty well. I started playing just a couple months before COVID. So then COVID happened. I got COVID right when COVID happened. I got it. I remember it was Pi Day 2020. What a time to be alive. I was in my dorm room. My girlfriend was visiting for the week, and that was a 9-week-long week because we were quarantined in my studio dorm room with my dog. So we got to know each other really well. We're still together 5 years later, so something worked out fine. But yeah, I got really into Raid, and I really liked it. I love the daily grind. I love the tasks. I like the hero collection. And then from there, I think that it's not like I'm a gamer for Raid. I just think that's the first game it clicked with. And now, it's kind of what I live and breathe right now. But what I always tell people is I'm not like a gamer by trade. You know, love Super Mario 60. Is that even what it's called? Oh my god! And we got
Mario
that.
Kart?
Don't cut it. No, I was trying to say Super Mario and Mario 64. Gotcha. I love Mario, the plumber, the Italian guy, Mario 64 on the Nintendo. I love it. I was a big Nintendo 64 guy. Favorite game of all time, Ocarina of Time. And then aside from that, like my Nintendo stuff, but it was mostly sports games. And I'm a very single track dude. So, heavily, as I know you're all thinking this already, but Ken Griffey Jr. Baseball, 1998. That was many years of my life. That and Ocarina of Time are probably my favorite games of all time. Obscure baseball game, but I love it. And after that, I got really into Madden. Then I got really into 2K, basketball game. And then in college, there was years of my life where the only video game I ever played was FIFA. And then that kind of brings me to when I started business school, downloaded Raid, and then became a gamer. So that catches you up a bit. So that I started playing Raid end of 2019. So that's if that gives you perspective.
Gotcha. It's interesting because I love all games. I've always been a gamer since as long as I can remember. But sports games have always been kind of consistently one of those things. I remember when the first Madden came out. Like I got the first Madden. I was like, oh, this is the best game of all time. I'm going to play this forever now. And then they started putting them out every year, and you're like, oh, now I got to get the new one. Now I get to get the new one. So it was one of those things. Like as a kid, you would get hyped to see who was on the cover the next year. Or FIFA, the next version of FIFA and all of that stuff. Yeah. I remember fondly, I think it was like the 2002 World Cup version of FIFA. And I was I was out of college a few years. I was playing with my buddies. They lived like a bunch of single guys lived in a house, and they created stadium seating, and they had 3 couches like on tiers, so we could all watch the big screen TV. And 8 of us were playing on the original PlayStation simultaneously, or PlayStation 2, I guess it would probably in 2002.
Is that hard for you?
What's that?
Like that your life peaked in 2002, I guess, because that's the best thing I've ever heard. Maybe it plateaued, maybe it stayed that good, but I don't think it gets better than that.
I will say that was one of the better gaming experiences of my life. Yeah, but I recently had a baby boy only 9 months ago, so I would say my life didn't peak. But my gaming life might have peaked in 2002, yeah.
But so the stadium couches, that's a close number 2.
Right, exactly. Right. Yeah, like had my baby boy, and then right here, stadium couch, FIFA, yeah. So that was exciting. But I think we all have those things, you know, like you will always associate Raid with that time when you and your girlfriend were getting to know each other because you were quarantined together. And so there are those gaming moments, which I just love to hear about because everybody's got one. And I want to pick, you know, I want to hear about that, pick that brain and figure out what it was that turned that switch. But so let's go.
It's funny. Sorry, I was just going to say it's funny because we had actually been dating for like a year, but it was only exactly 2 months earlier. We were like, all right, we're officially dating. So even though we'd known each other for over a year, been dating a year, and then instantly the test of all tests, your boyfriend's a gamer now. You guys are incredibly sick and you can't leave a studio apartment for over 2 months. Right. So I guess thank you, Raid. That helped put her, you know, through the ultimate trial.
Right, exactly. And still in your life. So yeah, it definitely worked out. But okay, so let's talk about that experience with Raid. You were playing in 2019 and you eventually got into content creation with Raid for the first time, right? That was the first game you were creating content for. And how did that come about?
Not to be like a really lame dude, but also my girlfriend, because I had just finished business school, I just finished writing my thesis. It was COVID now, but you know, that second round,
right?
What was it even called? Like the when COVID came back again that winter, not that it left, but that new strain, Omega or whatever.
I don't know.
Omicron. That one.
Yeah.
Omicron was sweeping through New York City, and I was back home in the States, and I got it again. I've had COVID 5 times. Let me know if you've had it more. I'm a collector of the virus, but and then I wasn't doing anything, and I was playing a lot of Raid, and she's like, you're always, you know, it's like nonstop Hell Hades and J gigs blasting out of your speakers while you're just lying in bed gaming. Do something, even if it's gaming. So just try. And I did have a lot of fun with it. I've noticed this not just with like content creation, but with any job I've really liked. I love make the whole sausage making process, you know, grinding it up, putting it in the little intestines. You got the sausage, and then you put it in the bun. You add the ketchup, or for me, it's mustard. I'm a mustard guy, guys. So yeah, I really enjoy that. So it's like my other job before I started doing content creation full time, like a year and a half ago, when I got back into it, I was doing like bar consulting and I was working as a bartender, and I really liked the whole start to finish process. So I would do like menu design, and like you source the ingredients, you test stuff, you figure out the recipe, you know, mix and match, you tweak everything. And then before you know it, you're preparing it and selling it to customers, and then you're getting feedback immediately. It's very similar to YouTube, I think, right? You have your idea, that's like your little recipe, you're tinkering, and then you finally put it out. And like within 10 minutes, you probably know if YouTube likes it and it's getting pushed. You're right. So I like the whole process of getting your hand in everything and then immediately getting the thumbs up or the thumbs down. So that clicked with me with content creation, even back when I did as a hobby with Raid. To less, not the most success in the world, but it was still really, really fun. It was a nice foyer into the hobby, the skill.
Yeah, and you know what's kind of interesting is the analogy. Totally, I was writing that analogy. I was like, that works great. But there is a thing that happens every once in a while that maybe the viewers don't always know. Which sometimes you put out a video that does nothing for 12 hours, and then all of a sudden it takes off. And that's not going to happen when you make the sausage. Do you know what I mean? You can't feed somebody and then 12 hours later, they're like, ooh, that was really tasty, you know?
That's like something that certainly recently has never happened to me. Maybe because Watcher Realms is a small space and I'm like have a big presence in the space. My feedback's pretty fast. Videos can surprise me after the fact that they have legs.
Right.
But actually what I've been really enjoying, my just to be the behind the scenes content creator, you get your graph of like your analytics with your views. And I'm very used to I guess it would be like a logarithmic curve, right? It starts steep and then it kind of flattens out.
Yeah.
It's been a lot more linear with my new raid videos, all 4 of them. But that's cool to see that it's kind of like steady. I think maybe because in Watcher Realms, again, I have a bit of a presence. They push my stuff faster and then the algorithm responds. Whereas here they're like giving out little samples. But it's kind of cool because no, I was just gonna say, like, I see a video and I'm like, oh, this might not do good. And I'm like, oh, it's still going. That's fun. So I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. The analytics for a new channel are very weird, right? Because the algorithm doesn't know what to do with you yet. You're still getting feedback. You're still building your audience. Maybe, you know, you're trying different things with it. But one of the things we were talking about before recording was like, you've hit 1,000 subscribers in what, 2 days? How fast was it to get to 1,000 subscribers?
Yeah, well, I mean, I did it like the steroids version, right?
Sure.
So it took us 19 hours for my first video to hit 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Which, for perspective, it took me over 300 days to do it the first time around when I covered Raid. So things have changed. I mean, I was pushing a takeover giveaway on my main channel and saying one of the conditions, subscribe to my new channel. But people showed up. I did a stream today. I had my first Raid stream ever. And I actually dual streamed it, which I will never do again because it was the biggest headache ever. Because maybe I'll do it between Twitch and YouTube, but it was the first time I did it on 2 YouTube channels. I did not enjoy doing that. But I peaked at 96 concurrent on my Raid YouTube, and that was with like 100 whatever people on my main YouTube. So to me, that was pretty exciting. Like, if you told me in 2021 that 90, even if you told me 40 people were gonna ever watch my Raid stuff, I'd have been like, that is a really fun lie you're telling me, and I'm enjoying it. You know.
All right, so that just leads us to Watcher of Realms. Let's talk a little bit about that, because you did your raid content creation for a while. You left content creation. You went to business school. You did a bunch of other things, had a career, and then somehow you got drawn back into the world of content creation through Watcher of Realms. So, you know, what happened there? Like, why Watcher of Realms? When did that grab you? And when did you turn your playing of the game into content creation?
Yeah, so it basically comes down to you're going to want to blow out your knee, fully sever your ACL, tear as many other ligaments as possible. Then you're going to have to get surgery, and you're going to be stuck for options. And your girlfriend's going to say again, you're lazy and I'm serious, it was her again. You're lazy and depressing, maybe do something. So yeah, basically I lived in Germany for a year. It was going really well, and I had this like bar consulting business going. It was fun. And then I was actually at a mixology conference in Cologne. If there's anyone from Cologne, shout out to you. Cologne's a cool city, man. That's a nice, proper German city. I like it. But I was on a Lime scooter, and a little girl ran in front of me, and I regret not running her over. I'll say that till the day I die, because I was going 10 kilometers an hour. For you Americans, that's about 6 miles an hour. It's like rolling on a scooter. But I jumped off to not hit her. She's 7 or maybe 5 or 10. I don't know how kids work, but like, she's probably made of rubber. And like, I just fell exactly that 1 in 100 wrong way. And like, I felt the pop, and it felt wrong, and I dislocated my kneecap. And then, yeah, it kind of wasn't fun, but I was able to keep working. I actually limped my way to the conference. I hailed a cab, went there, didn't feel good, got the diagnosis. But then when I finally had the surgery, the surgery is really traumatic, right? Because they're tearing into you, taking out a piece of my femur to rebuild my ACL and stuff. So that, like, then I was bedridden, and I lived in a 4-story, very European walk-up. So I was kind of trapped there. And it just so happened, the game I was playing leading up to that was called Eternal Evolution, which is a game I truly do hate. We talked about that in the first version of this interview, but a lot of people assume I hate Raid because they hate Raid, and that's why they went to Watcher of Realms or a new game. That's not why. I just stopped playing. It kind of ran its course after 3.5 years or whatever, and Hydra was really annoying. But yeah, essentially I was playing Eternal Evolution. That's a game I was really starting to dislike because I really didn't like their decision-making and the way, the kind of, create the problem, sell the solution, rinse and repeat was going. Even as a free-to-play, it was driving me crazy. And I noticed, like, the 2 closest friends I had from that game, and the best players in my guild besides me, they were gone. And I was like, where do you guys go? And they're like, oh, we're playing Watcher of Realms. Gotcha. And I looked at it. I think I watched a Susie video at the time, Ivy Lee. She was Ivy Lee when she covered Raid 2. And I was like, this doesn't look that great, but I'll try it. And I've never been hooked on a game harder. I fell in love with it like instantly. I played Raid and I played Arknights concurrently for a while when I was like getting into stuff. Arknights was like my second game. Raid was my main game. Yeah. And I consciously had the thought, I would love to combine these games. because Arknights does not have good hero collection in my opinion. They've got
Right.
cool tunes, but they had beautiful maps if you like tower defense, and they didn't have hero building. There was no gear. Basically, it'd be like Raid without masteries, without gear or like, artifacts, without relics. Now it would be like just promotions and skill ups, or ascending and skill ups, right? Changing your stars to pink and skill ups. So that wasn't enough for me, but the maps were great. But eventually, it wasn't enough. Watch of Realms really was that, right? It was tower defense, but it was like Raid meets tower defense. Nice. And had the dark fantasy graphics, which to me have always connected more. I do like the graphics in Watch of Realms much better than Raid, so that also kind of hooked me. And yeah, I loved it. And within like 2 days of playing, my girlfriend was like, "You really like this game. You should try content creation again." I toyed with the idea for a couple days. I played my first account for like 6 or 7 days, and after like day 6, I think I scrapped it. And I was like, all right, we're going to make a content creator account. Like I'm going to start from scratch and do a daily free to play. Similar to you, that's how I started in Raid. That's how I started in Watch of Realms. And it really took off. Like it took me, didn't take off like this, pushing a crazy takeover giveaway in 19 hours, 1,000 subs. But I'd come back to my old Raid channel, which has always been Fastidious. It wasn't Fastidious Raid or anything like that. And I was like 1,050 subs when I left. When I came back, it was like 900, and I hit 2,000. So in 2 weeks, so nice. I got another 1,000 plus. So if you compare that to Raid, where if I got 30 subs in a week, it was cool.
Right.
It was pretty dang exciting. So I was like, maybe there's something here. And it just kind of rocked and rolled from there.
That's awesome. And I think it's great when you find a passion for a game and you want to do content creation for it, and it just kind of snowballs like that organically. I had the debate with myself for like a year. I wanted to do content creation for Raid, and I actually practiced. I like recorded. I've said this before once or twice. I recorded like 100 videos that I never published, which is not the way to do it.
That's very crazy.
Yeah. Do not do what I did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I recorded like 100 videos that I didn't publish, and then finally.
Sorry, like I have questions for you now.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
What was that with intention, or you just kept thinking this is the one I'm going to release, but then you didn't feel like it was up to snuff, or what went into that? Because to me, when I give advice to people, my advice is do it. Just do it.
Right. Which is
the comment sections, the algorithm. Those are your gods. That's your trial by fire. Just do it. So to see that you've had this much success and you did it in what I would think is a fairly backwards way, I'm pretty fascinated by that. So what was your thinking there?
Yeah, so honestly, at that point, I had a Twitch channel that I had done previously for Magic the Gathering Arena, and so I was going back on that. And during that time that I recorded 100 videos, I was live streaming periodically, like every month. I'd live stream like once or twice, and so I was doing a little bit there. But the thought process was I didn't have a good setup. I had like an old laptop that was creaky and it wasn't quite working, and I was trying to find the combination of like peripherals and software that would actually feel like the production quality was decent. And then I was also practicing making videos because I'd only ever been a streamer before. And then I got stuck. Because I didn't like my setup. And so I would record it and I'd be like, okay, let me practice some editing. And I'd be editing the video and I would hate it so much. I would just stop. And then the next day I would be like, no, I want to do this. Let's try again. And I would do another video, or it'd take 2 or 3 days and I'd do another video. And eventually my wife just got so sick of me doing that. She was like, you either have to do this or you have to throw it away. Like, you can't be stuck in limbo. And so I was like, okay, I won't do it. I won't do it. And for 3 months I didn't record a video. And then one day I just like made the channel and recorded a video and put it up. And she was like, what just happened? And I was like, I guess I changed my mind.
Babe, I got 100,000 views.
Yeah, right. I wish.
Well, you guys see the pattern, right? We both needed a kick in the tushy, right?
Yeah. I did definitely need a something to click, and I gave myself a deadline, and I just kind of met it, and I was like, wow, that worked. And then the thing was just put out a video every day, or as many days as you can, And like you, probably, I mean, you had Raid to practice on, so I bet when you started Watcher of Realms, you were a bit more comfortable with your
I will
style.
say something that felt really good is when I went to started covering Watch of Realms. I had taken on it had been over a year and a half since I'd created content. When I covered Raid, the bulk of like when I did it at the beginning very daily, and then with solid frequency was like 8 or 9 months, probably about 8 months, really good.
Yeah.
And I never really had such good traction. And when I came to Watch Realms, a couple comments were like, "Oh, who is this guy? He some guy?" Like they thought I knew what I was doing, and I was like,
Right.
"It's cool that they think I know what I'm doing." Whether it was true or not, I thought that was fun.
Right. Exactly.
So maybe that helped. Like I started fresh, well, maybe not even fresh. It was the same channel, and I didn't even like unlist my raid videos. They're all still there if people are curious on my Fastidious channel. But yeah, like something worked. I don't know. What I've always told people, and this is kind of toxic too, the way I approach it, but like I have found some success and I don't know where it comes from. All I know is that I work really hard. So I just keep doing what I'm doing and then just doing it harder or whatever, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that is kind of the way I said kind of toxic is because then it's like I'm doubling, tripling down on all these different things and pushing myself too much, which I will say with the caveat, it's fun to do. It's not like, it's not surgery or something, it's low stakes and we're playing video games. But yeah, like I've always been scared to try to take my foot off of any of the gases of the things I spend too much time on, whether that be editing or thumbnails or, content prep or filming or this, that, and the other. But yeah, I would say it's really amazing to me because your content, I mean, we filmed a bunch of content together now because we have 2 videos yet to scrap. And then now these 2 videos, but you do come off really natural and clearly very well practiced and stuff. But it's interesting that you did it in I think I would guess a fairly unconventional way to make all those starter videos. It's pretty cool because my advice to a new person would be just do it. Just do your best, and you'll get better because you'll just keep doing it if you're consistent, right?
Yeah, and I definitely I would not, like you said, I would not suggest doing it the way I did. One of the things about my background is that I've spoken in like lecture halls as an educator. I've been in front of hundreds of people who are all staring at me sweating. It's like, okay, so that's a thing. This is really like, it's a camera. I can turn it off any moment. Do you know what I mean? I can go back and do it again if I need to make it better. So it's not a strange or stressful situation for me. It's just that my expectations of myself were so high because I'd been doing that career for 25 years. And so between the poor quality of the video or the audio or whatever, like I was being a perfectionist, and that is the enemy of production in YouTube. You need to say to yourself, I'm going to put out content and the audience is going to grow while I grow. You can't be perfect when you start.
Yeah, I would really agree with that sentiment that like trying to make it perfect and being like, I need to have the best setup ever. I mean, like when I started, my first handful of videos were like, I was doing the iMovie that was already on my super old MacBook that I was doing. And I find Mac and Apple to be way worse. Now I only use Windows for all this kind of stuff, this streaming, editing stuff. So if you're interested, I highly suggest, Windows PC, that kind of stuff. But I was doing that. And then I didn't have a camera, so it would be either my mother or my girlfriend filming me on an iPhone, my mom's iPhone, because it was the fanciest one in the house. It was COVID. I was living at home. I wasn't, it was fine back then. But yeah, just doing that. And then I didn't even have a streaming software, which are all free, right? It's not like I even had OBS, so I would just cut in different movies and paste them over each other. And like it was a terrible way to do it. My first couple of videos took me, many, many, many hours. For something that wasn't special and I could knock out now in 30 minutes or an hour, right? But you just have to start doing it. And then it becomes clear, okay, then I guess I do need a camera. And then you're like, oh, this Logitech one's on sale for $40. Like, I think a lot of people think it's this crazy setup. Even now, I'm in like an office in the house I have now, and my PC ended up being a big investment, but like this ring light over here, not that my lighting looks so good right now, but this was, I think, $10 off Amazon. I finally splurged on a camera. It's like $250. Nothing crazy. This microphone I spent too much money on, but my old microphone forever was like $100, that I used forever until a month ago. So I think people are making excuses when they're like, but I don't have the camera. I don't have the light. I don't have the thing. It's like laptop and then an iPhone or an Android. You can buy one of those stands that does it for you. You don't even need a mother or girlfriend to hold it for you. Like you're cooking, you're fine.
Yeah.
Like you can do the whole thing for free. As long as you have at least a laptop, you can do the whole thing for free.
Yeah, I agree. And I do think that like my setup now is pretty minimal and you can get away with minimal. There are ways to make minimal gear look better or sound better as well. But at the time I didn't know most of that, so I kept like convincing myself that I needed more before I dove in. And then when I eventually dove in, I think the thing that really put me over the top was I bought a new computer and I was like, even with the same kind of peripherals, I bought a new computer and I was like, okay, this is faster, this is smoother, and I don't have any more excuses. Like, this is enough.
Yeah.
This is enough. I should be able to do it. And then finally, I was just like, oh yeah, I'm going to pull the trigger on one of these videos that I hate. I'm going to put it up, and it's going to be my first one, and hopefully people watch.
Which was it?
I don't even remember exactly because like I said, I was recording stuff I didn't put up. But I think I was.
Is it still there?
Yeah, it's still there. And you can, I mean, the thing about, when you're a content creator is your delivery, the performative aspect of your job massively changes over time as you get better. So if you watch, it's very much me like, hello, I am Cole Red. I'm going to show you around the Bastion today. This is a building.
Yeah, fundamentals, Raid Fundamentals, episode 1. I'm seeing it here. 1K views. Fun. That's a fun thing. I always notice this. A lot of people, I think, have the moment. They're like, I wonder what his first video was, or I wonder what their first video or her first video was. First videos always outperform the second video by a mile for anyone that becomes at all established. But no, I mean, this is pretty good stuff. And the thumbnails are actually solid for first videos. My first thumbnails were not.
My friend who became my editor, his name is Sun. And we worked on that thumbnail probably for like 2 hours together. Do you know what I mean? For that little cheapo thumbnail. But yeah, it's a process.
Wait, you worked the Bastion one?
Yeah, probably.
Not
we
to
had to get the
roast
right
you too hard,
font.
but
We had to
it
get
is
the right color. We had to get the right.
Okay.
It's all of that. But you're right. It's the simplest, stupidest thumbnail.
I do like the thumbnail though, and that can't be said. I spent from the end of 2023, beginning of 2024. I was like, I need a new font. I had this feeling in my heart. I was like, I was using either exactly the Grand Theft Auto wasted font or very close to it. And it looked cool, but I was like, it needs to be legible. If you ever want to know if it's a good thumbnail, if you're making one, zoom out like a ton,
right?
Like 20%, because that's how people might be looking at it on the subway as they hold their phone. Like we're looking at it on your PC or your laptop and all perfect. Most people are like, barely caring about you skimming through a phone. So you want big text, right? But so I was like, I need a new font. I'm not kidding. I spent over 3 months deliberating and not like every day. I was like, all right, this is thumbnail. This is font hour,
Right.
but some days, yes. But no, it was something I thought about actively for like 100 days of my life. And I got to tell you, Impact and Kaluna, you've served me well. Thank you so much. Heck of a font, both of them. Yeah.
Impact shows up a lot on a lot of people's thumbnails. But okay, so listen, we've talked around a lot, and we still haven't gotten really to Raid, but there's a step in between before we get to Raid. We have to talk about the website. So at some point, you started creating a website for Watcher of Realms. Tell me about like when did that start? How did it start? What's your goal with it? Because if you don't know, or maybe you do, if you're a Watcher of Realms player, it's an excellent website. So give us the story about that.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Thank you. I got a website, fastidious.gg. Fastidious.com was selling for $100,000. I'm not even lying.
Wow.
So we went with .gg. At first, I thought someone was trolling me and like sniping it, but I don't know. How could anything be worth 100? That's whatever. I was like, there must be like some big pharma company about to launch something called Fastidious. Why would this be $100,000? Anyway, fastidious.gg. It wasn't my idea at all. It ended up being the biggest, incredibly rewarding thing, but biggest time sink in my life ever, maybe. But basically, I have no coding experience, no website experience, not me at all. I studied music and I studied finance. Like, I don't know how this stuff works at all. But basically, we had a guy, his name's Ma Bucket. He's become a good friend of mine, amazing creator. You could think he was like the Hell Hades of Raid when Hell Hades is the Hell Hades of Raid. The Hell Hades of Watcher of Realms when I started playing, because he had already been playing on Forerunner, like our beta server, for a year. Very polished, very eloquent British guy, really high quality stuff with a website. So I wasn't not even thinking at all about a website. I had put tier lists together in spreadsheets for people, not thinking about a website. And I just had a viewer, a guy named Luke from Poland. Hello, Luke. He sent me full mock-ups of what it could look like with the visuals, pretty close to, definitely very similar to the design style we have now. And he was like a front-end dev. I think he does a lot of full stack stuff to be fair, but he was just giving me like the front end, just like mock-ups in like an Illustrator kind of tool. And I was blown away. I was like, he was basically saying, you don't have to charge me anything. Let's just, you don't have to pay me anything. I'm not going to charge you. Let's just partner on this because it's a passion project of mine. And he had done so much work because you don't realize how everything on a website is a design decision. And if I will say, whether you like my website or not, the thing is very pretty. So thank you, Luke, for that. And it's something we've put at the forefront. It's still 100% ad-free, community funded, my wallet funded. But yeah, he came to me with these gorgeous mock-ups, and I was like, I mean, yeah, right? Like, how do you say no to that? It's like it was the nicest, would have at the time. I was like, this would be the prettiest gotcha website I'd ever seen, and I do think now that is what it is. So I'm pretty happy about that. I really like aesthetic and stuff like that. And from there, we like built out a volunteer team with moderators and viewers and this, that, and the other. And I was like, yeah, it'll be like a month-long project. And it's crazy. Like the amount of data you have to collect, the amount of constant bugs that happen and things you need to update, this, that, and the other, the amount of prep, the amount of pressure, because we raised like almost $11,000 from viewers to finance it, which ended up still not being enough, but it's fine. It's like something I'm very happy to provide. Like doing something like this 100% for free for the user is very difficult. We went through a bunch of iterations, and we're really happy with where it is now. So it just kind of all happened. It wasn't something, I never had the idea like I need a website. But I will tell you, like full stop, if you want to be a creator, especially in a space like this, having a website, if it's good, helps so much. It adds, I think it gives you a lot of clout. It adds a lot of legitimacy. These are not things I set out to do. That's not why I did it. But now that it's happened, I mean, right now I'm hosting, we're calling it the 3-to-play challenge. It's like a free-to-play thing. I did an epic challenge over the summer in Watcher of Realms. And this is a free-to-play, but I thought 3-to-play. I just literally, I built the whole challenge around the pun, and people are loving it. It's like you can only pick 3 legendaries. So it's it's like basically the epic challenge, but now so it's like, do I pick early and get a big lead, or do I wait? Because, it's RNG and luck. Or am I going to wait for the right ones? But we have like 400 people going on it. And I think a big reason we have such a big participation in a game that's not nearly as popular as Raid Shadow Legends or something like that is because the website's pretty dope.
That's sweet. That's awesome, man. And it's like you've got the challenge, you've got the website, you're the biggest content creator in the space. I think we could fairly say like Hell Hades is the Fastidious of Raid. Like that's basically what's happened here. He's like
he's working towards it. I don't know. It seems like he's picking up too many side projects with these other gaming studios and full products. But
he's got to focus a little bit if he really wants to match what you've accomplished over there. But no, that's awesome. That's great that you've done that, and I think it's awesome that you provide it to the community. Because every one of these gacha games is complex. There's a lot to it. And to have a central resource where viewers can go, they can watch a video, but they can also just go on their own time, scroll through all of the various, articles or tier lists or whatever it happens to be and educate themselves on these games is great. Because unfortunately, one of my complaints about Raid has always been that Raid doesn't do a great job teaching you how to play Raid. Like you have to go watch content creators in order to learn how to play this game. And so I guess that's why we have a job, which is awesome. But okay, so that brings us back to Raid. Now, all of a sudden, you've returned triumphantly to the game that started it all. The thing that back in COVID in 2019 turned your brain on, turned you into a gamer. Your girlfriend made you do it, or whatever it happens to be. Why? Why did you come back? Why now? How's this going to work? What are your goals? Tell me all about it.
Yeah, I would definitely say very much triumph pending, but I am back. I've already released 4 videos. You and I just recorded another video before this that will be coming out tomorrow. So maybe it won't be tomorrow whenever you see this. So either be the same day or yesterday.
Today.
But okay, time is funny. But basically, yeah, I mean, full disclosure, I've been very, very transparent about this. Plarium reached out to me for like a partnership sponsored kind of thing, seeing if actually, let's take one further step back. If you don't know, Watcher Realms went down on January 18th and January 19th, 2025. Why did it go down? Watcher Realms is owned by a developer that creates it, Moonton. Moonton is owned by a game publisher called Nuverse. Maybe you've heard of it. They make some really big games like Marvel Snap. That's probably their biggest game, at least with Western audiences. And then Nuverse is owned by ByteDance. Maybe you've heard ByteDance before. ByteDance owns TikTok. So when TikTok went down with all the crazy Biden and Trump stuff on the 19th, like 18th leading into the 19th, ByteDance, whether they had to or not, they answered by taking everything down in American markets. And that included all of Nuverse's games, and thus all of Moonton's games, and thus Watcher of Realms. And there was no notice at all. So this is my whole job. And then I was eating dinner downstairs. I go upstairs and I had left my laptop open, and I saw I had like 70 missed messages. And I do get a lot of messages, but 70 messages in 10 minutes stepping away for a quick bite is not a thing. So I was like, oh, did I like do something wrong? Like I was like, did I like show my wiener in a video by accident? Like, wow, how could I get no, it was they were like, hey, can you explain this? They were like looking to me for answers. And yeah, it really blew my mind. And I will tell you the message that Moonton sent. They've done better recently, but they still need to do so much better. This is a whole other can of worms. But the message was like, unfortunately, we have to remove the game for the time being indefinitely from the American market because of extenuating circumstances. And that was it. It was like 2 sentences. And that was it. Right?
That's scary. Yeah.
So it was very scary, and it wasn't reassuring or anything. And I will tell you, Plarium, one of the guys who works in user acquisition there, reached out to me within hours. So this happened at 8:20 p.m., I believe. I've talked about it a lot, so I think I know all the times. It was like 8:20 p.m. my time, Mountain Standard Time, on the 18th. And by the early hours of the 19th, I'd been messaged by Plarium. Just being like, hey, maybe we could make your channel a raid channel now because Watch of Realms in the tank. Not exactly like that, but you know what I'm saying. And I was like, no. But then I got a message from Ash. Ash has been a good friend of mine. He covers Watch of Realms as well. I've known him for a while, admired him for a while as well when I played Raid Shadow Legends. I'm assuming most of you guys know who that is. If you don't, you should check out his channel. It's actually quite good. But we become friends. He also He's an up-and-comer. He's a small potatoes kind of guy. Many people are saying he could one day be the Fastidious of Raid. We'll see.
Right.
But
if Hell Hades doesn't beat him to it, so.
Yeah, it's kind of their neck and neck. But basically, Ash is phenomenal. He's so accomplished in this space, and he runs his media company, Aftershock Media. And he's like, yeah, if you need advice on this or you need help. And we actually just ended up working together, working out the details, seeing if anything could work. And it was weighed really heavy on me. Whether that seems silly or not, because it felt like a huge career decision, whether this is going to end up being my career or not. But I'll tell you, it was a good deal of money, and they agreed to a lot of my terms, basically being like, yeah, I'll do daily content, but I really want to keep being me because I'm not going to just half-ass this and cash the checks. I'm a very full-ass kind of person. So yeah. And I think so far it worked out pretty well. It was a little stressful at the beginning. There was I felt like we were making so much progress every day. Then we finally signed everything and agreed to everything. And we had the whole plan to launch this past Monday, 2 days ago. And then I was like, wait, you forgot to send me my link. Wait, I don't have any hero PNGs for thumbnails. What's going on? And then so it was kind of chaotic in the end, but we pulled it off and I'm pretty happy. I think it's a really exciting challenge for me as well. So I will tell you, it really was 2 things that motivated me. Let's say 3 things. Money for sure. Don't think I'm not going to lie to you guys at all. Like I wouldn't be doing it for free. But also huge thing is like this full circle moment, ego check kind of thing. Have I gotten better? Can I do it? Like when I started covering Raid, I started like the same month as like Nub Raids and YST. Those are actually 2 of my friends, 2 people that I collaborated with. And we were like these small guys. YST, both incredibly nice guys, but YST would watch my streams. I would have 6 people, 12 people in my streams on Twitch when I streamed Raid. Like literally getting single digit streams on like a multi-hour Twitch stream is hard to do. Keeping it in those single digits, not even letting people lurk. But I was pulling it off, man. No one hung out at that 7 viewers like I did. But YST was there. So awesome guy. We came up together, right? And I was always really interesting how like, when I stopped, maybe they had gotten a little bigger than me, but it's not like they had taken off, right? It's not like I was at 1,000 and they were at 10,000 or 5,000 even. Maybe Nubs was at 3 and YST was at 1.5, something like that. I don't know. But I always kind of saw them as a foil in a really healthy way, I think, being like, oh, that's maybe what could have happened if I stuck with content creation, right? Right. And then when I finally went back to content creation, I got really big. In my little game, getting 24,000 subscribers in Watch Realms is really hard. So I'm pretty proud of that. And now it's like a really cool moment coming back being like, so what? What was I the problem last time? Or did I not try hard enough? Or did I not give it a long enough shot? Like, can I actually do this? I have no ambition to be Cole Red or to be Nub Raids or certainly to be those young up and comers, Ash and Hell Hades. But I would like to see if I can have some success and consistent
and take down YST.
Like,
I heard that. I heard the subtext. You want to take down YST.
I left YST out for a reason. I'm coming for you, buddy.
He likes challenges, just so you know. He'll probably get up for it. He'll take that challenge.
Dude, he's so nice. No, yeah, I'm not trying to be any of those big names, but if I can just be fastidious and get I don't know what success would look like, but find new viewers, not just the people that like me from Watcher of Realms, and connect with the game, connect with the audience. Like, to me, that actually is more exciting than the money. Like, I feel like I'm going to get an answer, and it's scary. It's like, am I good at this or not?
Yeah.
Don't tell me yet. Give it a couple weeks, please. And then I'd say the final thing is like competition, right? Like, I know they just took on like a dozen new sponsored channels, and like I very much want to be the top one. That I do. I'll tell you full point blank. I think you cannot succeed in YouTube, or at least it's harder to succeed in YouTube if you don't have. For me, I don't even think of myself really as a gamer right now. Like, I only play Watcher of Realms, and now I just started Raid this morning, right? I only play Watcher of Realms, and Watcher of Realms is my job. My game is YouTube, whether I like it or not. And that's what gets my competitive juices flowing. And like, there's that little part of you that's like, I want to dominate, right? So I don't need to come to Raid and dominate the whole game, but I want to be like, I'm sure. Do I even know? I won't say that, but I'm sure there are sponsored channels that come and they're like, yeah, I'm happy with a couple hundred views a video, and thank you for all your sweet, sweet money.
Right.
I don't want that at all. I want to come and I want to be like, that was the good sponsored channel. That was one of the good ones. That guy was legit. So that's probably the third thing. I'd say it's in order. I'd put ego check, money, competition. But those three things, they had me revved up. They got the gases, the juices going, the gas is in the tank. I'm pretty hyped up.
Well, congratulations, first of all, on getting the deal. I got to say, as a Raid content creator and somebody who's never been part of the content creator program, that I feel like, this full circle moment of like, you were in the game, you were a player in the game, you spent money in the game, and now you're coming back around and the game is paying you. The game is paying you to play it. Yeah, sure. You could talk about that.
We're deep enough into the interview. Like, it feels really good to be P2P, not pay to play, paid to play. Like, it feels good. Like, I'm 100% free to play. I will, Watcher of Realms, like, they pay me thousands of dollars from all the rewards I get, and then my exclusive contract and stuff, right? And I've never spent a penny on the game. It does feel good because this is a predatory business. I know that hurts to hear, and I get it, because it sucks, because I've been there, right? I was the guy that felt preyed upon. I spent $2,800 as a master's student living in like the tiniest studio dorm during COVID and stuff. But I was like, hey, I can't do anything. It's COVID. I can write off, in my mind at least, not taxes, but in my mind being like, oh, what's another $100 or what's another $50 on energy? And then I so regret it, and I felt so bad. So it does feel really good that a week from now I'll officially be back in the black with Plarium, and then after that it will have come full circle in a way that I ended up on top. So yeah, I'm sorry if that's weird to hear, but without a doubt that feels really nice, because it made me feel really bad. Like, I know some people spend a lot and don't feel bad, and you shouldn't. If you can afford it, you shouldn't feel bad at all. It's not like I put myself in debt, but I hurt myself like a little bit. Like, I should not have been spending whatever I spent. Like, I played in like 7 months. I spent like over $300 a month on a video game that I couldn't afford to do. So I felt really bad. So that was what inspired my account, besides just my girlfriend saying, get off your fat ass. I was like, you can watch my first video. It was like, hey guys, I'm gonna help you save money in Raid. That was like kind of my conceit. Like, I'm gonna do it free to play, and I'm gonna show you. And I think I did. I think you have done it since. I think a lot of people did it before. That was important to me. And now it feels nice to have a little comeuppance, or whatever you might call it.
I will say that, like, first of all, I think that motivation to potentially, at the very least, like, be able to say, I'm getting some money from YouTube, and I'm, if I'm spending money in the game, I'm getting some money from YouTube at least to kind of mitigate the costs or whatever. So you can go back and watch. I've heard Hell Hades say that. I've heard other content creators say that, like, the initial impetus maybe to do a channel was just to, like, maybe not, like, to get some value out of the money that you're putting into the game, because that once you stop playing, that money is, like, that asset's not coming with you. Do you know what I mean? And so
it's all sunk cost, baby.
It is. And again, like, I'm a free-to-play content creator. I don't judge spenders. I encourage people to spend wisely, set a budget, or at least know your limits. Try not to do things like rage spend. Rage spending is bad regardless of what your budget is. And those kinds of things. And if you can use the methods that we talk about, that you and I talk about, to get more success out of the resources, whatever level of resources you're getting, then great. But for me personally, someday this game is going to pay me. Like someday this game is going to pay me. So the fact that you're there, like I love, like vicariously, I'm living through you right now. I'm like, you go get that money. You go get that Plarium money. Get it.
I gotta say, I'm like, in a lot of ways, I do think so. Fastidious is an adjective, right? That's how I came up with the name, and it was like, I'm going to be fastidious in breaking everything down for you in my free to play series. Oh, I'm freezing. Was that freezing for you?
That's all right. Keep going.
Yeah, I was just like, I mean, Fastidious is like very detail oriented. I like to say in the nitty gritty. Kind of in the weeds, high attention to detail, right?
Yeah.
So that was like, I'm going to bring that energy for you guys, and I'm going to do all that for you with my free to play series, so you can just copy me and save money, right? But with a lot of parts of my life, and certainly with my job now, as a content creator, I really I think it's just part of who I am. So leading up to this decision, if I was going to come back to Raid or not, if I was going to, take this partnership, this contract, I had like a whole list of people I wanted to talk to. That's actually how we met. I talked to a bunch of like viewers and creators, and you were the only person that I didn't know that kept coming up over and over. And I think it worked out really well. I think it's been really nice getting to know you these past few days. But a lot of the creators I talked to shared a similar sentiment. I think he won't mind me shouting out. I won't several did. But one of them, especially Jay Giggs, was like, "Hell yeah, get that Plarium money." It's like, why are you asking me, buddy? Yeah, part of me is I would as nice as it would feel, because I think money is a cool thing. I wouldn't be able to do it if I didn't have a goal of also doing it.
Yeah. No,
it's something I'd thought about in the past. But
yeah. And it's funny because I can literally hear Jay Giggs in my ear saying that, because like Jay is a friend of the channel. I've done some collabs with him. He's an awesome guy. And I can just see him. Yeah.
We had this long call. It's that if I could have one call that I could have actually secretly recorded and posted as like a podcast, that call I was laughing so hard the whole time, because he's so good at being so sincere. He's like,
yes,
man, I'm hearing everything you're saying, and I know he is. And then he just caps off with, but also, what the fuck are you talking about? Take their money.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So it's just, but I mean, the game is a good game. It always is. And I know people, and this is what I would tell you, people say nasty things about Plarium. I think a lot of you Raid guys, because I'm not a Raid guy. I'm like, I play all these games, right? If anything, I'm a Watcher guy, but now I'm like maybe a games guy. So I hope I have a broader perspective. I haven't played a game where everyone's like, this developer's so cool, and like, I wish this developer was like a guy and we could like go to the movies. Like, no, everyone hates the developer. Like, I haven't played that game. Watcher Realms is the most generous developer I've ever dealt with, and I hate them half the time. Moonton drives me insane. Like, I'm like, why not just like take a course on communications? Like, is that hard for you?
Right.
Like, we're like, we have high expectations and they always fall short of it. Like, so what I'm trying to get at is, if you feel angry at Plarium or something, maybe just try the free to play thing. Do what I did. Do what Colred did. Or if you want to follow my channel, like Balling on a Budget, that's what I'm about to start. Keep it really low. Like, be like, this is the absolute max. You're going to start getting a lot less angry when it's just like your time and your fun tied to it, and you feel like you're in control of your decisions. I had there are times when I rant because I'm like, this event's stupid, or this fusion's too hard, if you go back to my old videos, but I really didn't have those feelings. So I get why you guys did, because you're like, I gave you all this and you gave me this little, or you didn't show me this respect. But if you can kind of divorce yourself from those feelings by maybe changing your spending actions or your approach or your habits, I think it's going to give you a lot of peace of mind if you actually do love these games and you want to stick with them. Because Raid was a game I loved and wanted to stick with. Just to take you really quickly through, I started in 2019. I stopped playing in June. So it was like November to June or something like that. I played like 7 months, and I was spending, and that's when I spent the $2,800. And then I didn't play till Thanksgiving. So whatever that is, July, 3 or 4 months, right?
Yeah.
And when I came back as a full free to play and never looked back. And it was all fun. Like, I just had fun. And I only ever stopped playing when I was just noticed I had to stop playing. It wasn't a decision I ever made. I was like, oh, I haven't logged in a month. I guess I don't play this anymore. And I picked up Awakened Chaos Era. I kept playing a couple other games, and that was that,
Yeah.
So that's just kind of my 2 cents, not to be too preachy, but this all this is what you make it. If you feel like you need to spend to compete, especially if you're starting down Raid, you won't compete. What are you talking about? Just enjoy the game.
Yeah,
right?
and it's interesting because
is there anyone that could you compete if you start now? No, right?
No, not. I mean, you'd have to spend tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, and people do.
I think you'd have to spend Yeah, so if you want to spend 6 figures, but then you don't need our advice. If you have 6 figures to spend on a game, you don't need anything from us.
But
Hit me up. I need advice.
It is interesting that you say that, because I think viewers of my channel have long known like my stance on it. One is that like I don't judge anybody for their spending habits, but I will say this, like me personally, I enjoy the challenge of free to play. I also don't get caught up in the FOMO. Like I don't have it anymore. Like it probably when I was 20 or something I had it, and now I don't. I'm almost 50. But you know, so I can play the game, and
You look good.
when something goes wrong in the game, like in terms of what they're doing and they're exploiting their players, it doesn't hurt me that much because I'm free to play. I'm insulated from it. But I get angry by proxy for my viewers. I get pissed off for the community to have to put up
Totally.
with this stuff. Do you know what I mean? So it's like I get like
Yeah,
this
totally.
righteous anger, and I'm like, why did you do that to Hydra? You're hurting all these people. And I'm like, did it affect me that much? Almost not at all. But the people that I care about, the community that we're building, and this is such a great community, like a lot of them got hurt. Many of them, I lost community members because Plarium took them away from me. You know, because Plarium decided to hurt them and they walked away from the game. And that sucks. And sometimes you get mad at the developer for that. But simultaneously, you're right. Like if you can find a way to mentally wrap yourself around like your personal experience and be like, this is the way I view this game, and I recognize that this will always be part of it, you know,
Totally. Yeah.
then
And
you can
I
kind of have a
really,
more even experience. Yeah.
I sincerely apologize if it sounded like I was saying like you can never be angry at them. You should be
Oh, no,
angry
no,
at them
no.
all the time.
Yeah.
Nothing will ever change if you're not angry at them. In
Right.
Raid, I might not have ranted that much. In Watcher of Realms, because I have a platform and because many times now me throwing a fit has led to a positive change in my opinion. I do it all the time. So I'm not saying don't let your voice be heard, but I'm saying try to see it both ways and try to focus more on what's giving you joy from the game. And if you're not getting joy from the game, you shouldn't be
Yeah.
playing a game, because then it's not a game, is it? It's like an annoying task.
Yeah.
And
And
who likes
that's
tasks?
another thing I say on the channel, which is like we all need to game the way that makes sense to us. Right. And
Yeah.
we may game differently, and that's fine. But the thing that we all have in common is we do this to get joy from it, or to find stress relief or distraction or whatever it is. And if you're not getting that, if the game is adding to your stress, or it's making, you know, make you feel worse about yourself, it's time to leave this game and go find a different one. Go play Watcher of Realms, or go play a PC game, or go play tennis. I don't know, but just stop doing Raid.
Yeah, actually, there was a moment where it was a couple months before I officially stopped playing, but it was probably the biggest moment that let me know probably it was time, because we had some fusion. I think it was for Opardine. Is that Opardine clan?
Oberding
Whatever.
Clan Father, yeah.
Who I actually was just told today on my stream got buffed, but he was dog water. He was terrible.
Yeah.
And I knew he was terrible. I'd covered him a lot, but I just such a completionist free to play hardo. I hated the idea of missing out, but I was working like 6 days a week at the bar I was managing at that time, really busy. And that day it was like the last time to do I don't know if it's called Champ Chase or Summon Rush, but the one where I just have to rip a million green summons to hit my thing.
Right.
The mystery summons. And I ended up going out with a colleague after work, and like I think we like had a drink at his house and smoked a cigar, like a really fun Thursday night or whatever it was, or Sunday night, whatever it was. And then I was driving home. It was only one drink, I promise. I was sober. But I was driving home, and I pulled over on the side of the road because I realized, oh my God, the fusion's ending soon.
Right.
Or that event's ending soon, and I need those fragments or whatever it was. And I did it, and I was like ripping and quick. And there's this rant exists, and I think I even started pulling my normal summons. I think I summoned like my second Kaimar, and I was furious because I was like, that's not enough, and I wasn't able to do it in time, and I missed out on this awful fusion hero.
Yeah.
But it was like so controlling and distorting my mind that all the joy had kind of gone, and it really just felt like I missed a homework assignment. It felt that feeling of like you're out in college, and you're like, oh my God, I forgot to do that problem set. Like that's, you know, and I was like, ooh, that's not how video games are supposed to be.
It's funny because there's a Titan event going on right now, and earlier today, I just had to deal with some stuff in the house, and I didn't complete one of the Titan events, and I'm pretty sure that means I won't be able to get the 5-star soul this time around. And like that's the big prize. It literally happened to me today, and I think 2 years ago I would have lost my mind, and today I was like, well, hell, you know, and I'm just like on to the next thing. Because if you can't learn to manage that, then you're right. Then it's time to leave. And luckily for me, you know, I think I manage it pretty well now as a free to play player and a content creator, because I still know that I find joy in the game, but I also find joy in the community. And it's great to have you back in the community, by the way, buddy. It's great to meet you because your name has floated around the ether for the last couple of years. You know, I've heard whispers of Fastidious from other content creators, and now I'm getting to know you. I'm really enjoying our discussions. I'm enjoying re-recording the videos that we've messed up. That's been fun.
Same time tomorrow?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it again. And
Can I say one thing before we're done? Sorry, it's just something I wanted to touch on that you just were
sure.
Kind of queuing up. So one thing I want to say is it's important, I think, with games like this, especially that are so task oriented and resource managey, and kind of like you get these little dopamine, adrenaline, happiness hits because, oh, I did good, I did it on time, I did it proper. Check where you're getting that joy. So now I don't play these games for that. But I do think the reason I got so into it was COVID, and I didn't have many classes. It all went online. That's when that started happening, and I didn't have much to do, and I think I felt listless. And I think the game kind of gave me purpose. It gave me little things to do, boxes to check every day. So I think that was an unhealthy thing for me. That could be great for you, but I think basically eventually it snowballed into me being like, oh, I don't think it's fun anymore. Yeah. So I just wanted to at least get that out there. So just maybe if you ever feel yourself getting really angry or really upset, maybe make that like clock that internal feeling, make an evaluation and see. Because once you start really liking it, like I'm back now. I had a blast this morning. So
yeah, and it can be fun. The game is there. There's so much content in Raid now. It's a almost 7-year-old game, so there's tons of stuff to do. Like if you started playing today, you could play this forever, and you'd probably never hit the end of it. And that's the other thing about free to play, which is like, I think we talked about this before off camera. We're not trying to race through the content. Like if we enjoy playing the game, make the experience last a little bit. That's another way to like kind of lower the pressure on yourself. You know, enjoy the journey and what you're getting out of it. But I think all of those are great tips. And yeah, I appreciate you coming on and saying that and just hanging out and letting us know your story. So folks, if you are interested in checking out Fastidious's new channel, I will include a link to that below. But also remember, he's got the other channel for Watcher of Realms, and then of course he's got the website. So there are a whole lot of links to check out. If you go to his channel, you can find all of the rest of those things. Yeah. Any last words for the people here?
Thank you very much for having me, Colred. Thank you guys for watching, especially if you made it to the end. I think you got a real one right here. You're a great content creator, and it's nice getting to know you, and I hope to continue getting to know you and watching your content.
Oh, awesome. That is it for us today. I have been Colred. He has been Fastidious. We will see you in another video soon.